Good evening, everyone. I hope that you have had a great day. And I am here to talk to you tonight about the Texas Core 391 exam. So that's where we're going to lay our hats tonight to talk about the best and most effective ways to approach it. And more importantly, or more specifically, the weight of this test. It is a crucial point in a generalist educator's life to pass the sections that are inside of this test. And I want to go through and help you to be as strategic as possible as you prepare to study. Of course, we here at TT Innovative Solution would love to support you and to help you to get over the hurdle of any of the sections that you're having trouble with, but also allow offering you information to assist you to score well and to remain focused as the end of the year comes and as you prepare for your summer vacation. So let's get right into it. Again, my name is Tamara Gibson, and as always, it is an honor to continue to serve you. And our focus tonight is the keys to passing with confidence. As stated before, this is not just one test. We must be truthful and honest about it. This is 5 tests in one. And it requires a lot of preparation for you to be able to get the information that you need and to be prepared to be a generalist and carry the weight of each one of these subjects, the knowledge that is needed in order to be acquired for it. So I'm going to start out with the ELA exam and talk to you a little bit about it. And I want it to be noted right now that it is the heaviest of weighted exams on this test. It requires more questions, and it has a broad range of information that needs to be paid attention to or noted, whichever way that you want to say it. But again, the ELAR test, English Language Arts test, has 45 questions. The high impact domain that I believe you should focus on and can start with. So tonight, really, I'm trying to give you ways to start or places to start. And that is foundational reading skills and comprehension. The majority of the questions are going to be talking to you about how you are to assist students that are in 4th grade through 6th grade. It doesn't mean that you don't need to understand what happens at the lower levels, but it means that the majority of your questions are going to come talking to you about how to take care of that, because again, STAR is heavily impacted for those grades. Now, the foundational grades and information that you need to know is going to be found, or shall I say the focus I'm going to tell you to pay close attention to is phonological awareness, decoding, and text structures. Your understanding of that will help you in order to score well on the exam. In another time, I'll talk to you about the strategies behind when you're reading test questions. But for today's purposes, I'm just going to focus on this. So if I were taking this test, I would have a plan for at least 6 to 8 weeks of studying, not to cram, but to be consistent with my study habits and focusing on these 5 tests, okay? And so that's my suggestion to you. Talking a little bit more about the English Language Arts test, I would also incorporate read alouds, understanding read alouds and what impact they make, comprehension and how I can do an analysis of the comprehension of what students are reading aloud to me, and I'm giving them data that is collected and analyzing that data. And your phonics terms. So any phonemic awareness type terms, you need to know what those are like the back of your hand so that you're not struggling with the vocabulary that's going to be on this test. If you look closely in the competencies, it will share and show you in parentheses. I always like to call it's the cheat sheets. It tells you words that you need to highlight and understand and be very aware of. Then we get to the math test. The math test is 40 questions. The most high impact domain within this is the numbers, operations, and algebraic reasoning. It is important that you are fluent in place values and operations and patterns, and that you understand the formulas that are often used when instructing students. It is not necessarily going to be just 4th through 6th grade math. It is higher understanding of math, and so it is going to take you to practice it. But I would say, please, please, please wrap your minds around the fact that you need to know how to correct errors. Focus on how to correct errors that students might not understand, or misconceptions around certain topics within math. And that actually goes for all of the tests, but I've noticed it very heavily with math. So mental math, use your use of manipulatives, models, drawings, review those, and that will definitely help you along the way. The third test on this test is social studies. Again, 40 questions. And these questions, I would say your best thing is to understand and know Texas history and United States history. It is not that you don't need to know world history, but I'm trying to give you the keys to being focused and studying, and U.S. history and Texas history is where you're going to be able to get your bang for your buck. I would suggest also that you study through a timeline, story-based timeline, as almost like you're creating a movie for yourself, to help you to understand the different things that are happening and along the continuum of what's happening. And again, vocabulary that is highlighted within the competencies is very, very important. And oh boy, maps. Maps, you understanding geography, you understanding how people's roles and habits and how they move around and why they move around has a lot to do with the space that they have available to them, the resources that are in that area, and many of the things that have happened over history have to do with that. Then we get off to science. Science, again, 45 questions. Science is a hard one to pinpoint, and I want to say that up front, because there's not, when you take this test, you'll see that there might be 2 questions on, I think it's like 16 to 20 competencies. And it's because it's so varied, I'm going to say that your best bang, again, or your high impact domain is going to be physical science and scientific inquiry. So making sure that you understand lab safety, investigation methods, that you explain the science concepts, what I would say kind of role play, maybe explain it to someone else, so that you are almost to the point teaching it to someone else. That's going to be key to helping you. Where would I start? I would start with force and motion, energy, the different kinds of sciences. I know the different types of categories of science, I would say that, excuse me. And making certain that you understand the water cycle, rock cycle, all of the different cycles that are mentioned within science and how they play a part in our world. These are the best methods for you to grab hold for the science exam and to be successful. And the 5th and final exam on this test is the fine arts, health, and PE. There are 40 questions, and oftentimes I'll hear statements like, well, why do we even have to take that particular test? You are receiving a generalist degree, and as a generalist, you need to generally know about all of the subjects that you may have to be responsible for. And being totally honest, we know that often fine arts is the first thing to go when there are funding issues. And so fine arts in this high impact domain is going to be music and physical education. It's not that the other ones are not important. Visual arts is important, theater is important, It escapes me the last one, but they're all important. But again, your starting point, your best method of approach is going to be music and physical education. You will learn the basic vocabulary like tempo, form, color, theory. I would also say listen to music, activities and demos regarding music if you're not familiar. Know the stanzas, understand how and where the letters and things are on a music sheet. And then physical education. As I said before, it's not something that's very familiar with others, but again, you are receiving a generalist degree. And so these keys or this approach in which I'm asking you to take care of. A lot of these, I would suggest that you do some flashcards with terms that you don't understand. But don't just stick with that. Make sure that you're using varies of resources. I often see a lot of people with the same type of study book, but they try to read it from cover to cover, and that's really not the best method. You focusing on the competencies that have the most weight on them is what is the best practice. I pointed out to you each of the high impact domains that will give you a good approach, a good way to start. But your best is to start with the competencies. We here at TT Innovative Solutions would love to continue to support you with those competencies, to get you on a study regimen and even analyze your scores. We have, if you visit our website at ttinnovate.com and click on the test prep section, you will see our method to our madness, as I would say, and the way in which we can assist you to get where you're trying to go. I know that this time of the year is the most scary for those of you who are associate teachers. Some of you have come to the point where you have to produce or you are going to have to leave the district, whether you resign or whether you are dismissed. It is important that you secure your future. I have a phrase that I always put in the hashtag that is crush your goals 25. You started with a goal at the beginning of the school year to be the best educator that you could be. Somewhere in there, some focuses on you taking care of this test took backseat. I need you to put it back in the front seat. We'll have some programs that are coming up soon. And so I'm hoping that you will be able to participate with those programs. Again, have a wonderful rest of your day. I look forward to supporting you and seeing you on the next session that we have. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.